Welcome to another edition of 42 Straight Years In. On my crackhead update, I saw my regular car date lady. Normally when I would get out of the car and got groceries, I place them on the patio. Sometimes I jump the patio wall and just come through the patio door. But yesterday I placed the groceries on the patio and I walked all the way around and came through the entrance. And I saw the car date lady sitting in a Maserati. I see that Maserati parked there all the time. And she called me over. She said, "Hey, you didn't know I had a car? That lady drives a Maserati. It's a 2018 Type S." And she said her husband had a lot of money and he died. And she received a hell of a lump sum from her husband's death, because she got a 2-bedroom here, and that rent is $1,600 a month. So she don't have no problem paying her rent. And she got a Maserati. She said, "Man, it's paid for." I said, "Yeah, I don't do no car dates in my car. I do car dates in other people's car." I show you sometimes you can't judge a book by its cover. That's my crackhead update. Y'all know what it is. Get your shanks out and let's ride. This video gonna be about a guy named Benjamin Spencer. He's from Dallas, Texas. He was convicted in 1987 of robbery, and he just made another bid for his freedom after new evidence surfaced. Benjamin Spencer is probably looking at his last shot at freedom. He has been behind bars for more than 3 decades after his conviction in a deadly 1987 robbery, and his attorneys said this week that new evidence could free him. Benjamin Spencer, now 55, was serving a life sentence in the Cofield Unit, a prison in the East Texas town of Tennessee Colony. He was accused of slaying of Jeffrey Young, a clothing firm executive who was carjacked, robbed, and beaten before his body was found in West Dallas in March 1987. Questions about Spencer's guilt have surrounded this case for years. A judge found the Dallas man actually innocent in 2008, but a higher court disagreed. In a new court filing, Spencer's attorney point to new evidence that a witness lied about receiving a secret payment of thousands of dollars in connection with the case. And they note admissions from other people that they lied on the witness stand. The attorneys also cite new scientific research that they say prove witnesses who claim to have seen Spencer on the night of the slaying could not have identified him as the killer because they were too far away. Spencer has always maintained his innocence, and he never gave up hope that one day he would be released from prison, said Jim McCloskey, who has kept working on Spencer's case even after his retirement from Centurion Ministries, a New Jersey-based organization that investigates claims of wrongful conviction. McCloskey's work has helped free wrongly convicted people all over the country, including in Dallas. The stakes for Spencer are especially high. This is the last resort for him, McCloskey said. It has been 33 years of litigation, up and down and around, he said. We exhausted all avenues unless the real killer gives a confession, and that's not going to happen. Spencer was 22 in March of 1987 when three people who knew him said they saw him getting out of a car that belonged to Young, the victim. Spencer's attorneys have raised questions about the veracity of that eyewitness testimony, which is notoriously unreliable. Young's family had previously declined to talk about his murder, and one of his sons could not be reached Thursday. Spencer was initially tried on a murder charge, convicted and sentenced to 35 years in prison. But that conviction was tossed out when it was discovered that one witness, Gladys Oliver, had disclosed that she had received reward money. Spencer won a second trial but was convicted of aggravated robbery and sentenced to life in prison. In 2007, Spencer had a hearing before a state district judge who later declared that Spencer was actually innocent. But Texas Court of Criminal Appeals rejected the judge's finding in 2011, so Spencer had to stay behind bars. Since 2007, Spencer has been up for parole 9 times, according to Timothy McDonald, Chief of Staff of the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles. Each time the board has denied his release, citing nature and seriousness of offense. Spencer's attorneys filed a court document Tuesday citing new revelations that 3 witnesses admitted giving false testimony at Spencer's second trial. Oliver, the witness whose failure to disclose reward money led to Spencer's second trial, admitted to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office that she received a secret payment between $5,000 and $10,000 from the late Ross Perot in exchange for her testimony between the first and second trial, according to filings from Spencer's attorney. Perot was a friend of the victim's father, Spencer's attorneys wrote in the document. When Oliver was questioned during the second trial, she denied having received any money besides $580 from Crime Stoppers. Spencer's attorneys say Oliver was obviously motivated by the payment to provide false testimony. Oliver could not be reached for comment. Spencer's attorneys also say in the court's filing that 2 other people have testified at Spencer's trial. Jimmy Cotton, who initially said he saw Spencer the night of the slaying, and Danny Edwards, who said he overheard Spencer admitting to the crime while they shared a cell in Dallas County Jail, have admitted to lying to the jury. The attorneys also point to new scientific evidence that they say prove that witnesses who claim to have seen Spencer on the night of the slaying could not have identified him as the killer because they were too far away. There is also an alternative suspect, Michael Hubbard, whom the attorneys describe as a prolific criminal, known for restaurant robberies and violent attacks. Hubbard, who invoked his right not to incriminate himself at the 2007 hearing in Spencer's case, is serving a life sentence in Texas prison for aggravated robbery. Now, a judge entered this past Friday. The judge can't make a ruling because the case is before the Court of Criminal Appeals to make a ruling on actual innocence. But he was released on a PR bond this past Friday. So Benjamin Spencer is free at the moment here in Dallas, Texas. Now, I got another little homeboy of mine. He's at the Styles unit. And his case is quite similar to this guy. We are trying to get him help. He's been locked up 25 years. And he's actually innocent. But he don't have no one assisting him. All the innocent projects claim that they got a backlog of cases, so he don't have no help whatsoever. It's bad enough being in prison, but you can do time a lot easier when you know you committed the offense. But just think spending 34 years in prison and you have committed no criminal offense. Can you imagine this guy's mental state? But I looked at the interview they had Friday when they released him. Man, he didn't know what to say to the public. Man, he just so happy to be free. And people in Texas are always talking about hellhole prisons. And then a lot of guys, because you got some people talk about the Ferguson unit. Man, it's Ferguson unit just housed. What make it so bad at Ferguson is these young guys and they first offenders. So naturally that's going to be a wild prison. But it's not the most violent prison in Texas. By a long shot. It's not the most violent. Now, Cofield will give you a run for his money. It's the largest prison in the state of Texas. It is 3 times larger than the Ferguson unit. Matter of fact, Cofield unit basically have more inmates than Ad Seg almost than the Ferguson unit have total inmate population. Cofield had a large administrative segregation. It housed all custody levels at the Cofield unit. And I spent from 1986 to 1991 at the Cofield unit. And it's not no cakewalk at Cofield. People be talking about criminals in general, but just think about a guy who's locked up and didn't commit the crime. And a lot of guys don't have resources, or don't have a good paid attorney or retained attorney to fight in his behalf. He got to go in there with a court-appointed lawyer, and the deck is stacked. Now, you got some court-appointed lawyers who put up a fight. You got some who don't. You got these overzealous DAs who just try to get a conviction at all costs. They don't care about holding back incriminating evidence, exculpatory evidence. They don't care nothing about none of that. You don't mean jack shit to them. Once you get in front of a jury, you better not have a criminal record. You is doomed. The majority of the time, a lawyer's not going to let you testify if you got a criminal record. But these guys are first offenders. It's something I noticed during my stay in prison. Majority of the guys that I ever came across who say they didn't commit the offense, in later years, they come out to wash that these guys are telling the truth. I met several old guys who've been exonerated, and they all were telling the truth. Most guys in prison do not go around talking about he didn't commit the offense. What are you going to lie to another inmate for? Hell, I'm not a parole officer. Ain't nothing I can do. I can't release you. You know, so most guys do tell the truth to another inmate on the facts surrounding his conviction. And majority of those guys complain about the length of their sentence, or the offense wasn't actually proved by evidence, or the lawyer was ineffective. That's the inmate's favorite claim. My lawyer didn't put up a good enough fight, or I would have beat this case. But none is very few that say they actually didn't commit the offense. They complain about the length of time, because it's a hell of a disparity in sentencing in Texas. Like murder case, for instance. Murder carried 5 to 99 or life. And you got some guys get 75 years for murder, and another guy, he go in and plead guilty and get 20. But it's still first degree murder. To me, the sentencing should be more uniform. You know, if a guy know he has a prior felony conviction, he know he can't go in front of a jury, he gonna try to make a deal. Most people who have been to prison or been in county jails, they done heard these guys talk. They know they don't stand a chance in front of a jury. And they got a violent case. So if they offer, Dallas' favorite plea for a violent case is a 50-year sentence. That's their favorite number. You see a lot of guys in Dallas County serving a 50-year sentence for a violent offense. Now these guys pleading guilty for that. Me, myself, I would not plead. It's very little difference between a 50-year sentence and a life. You would just have to sentence me to life. I would never cop for no 50-year sentence. Would not plead guilty for it. Y'all follow me over on Patreon. The link is in the description. And you smash that like button up. Y'all done start slacking on me. I need my likes. Don't cost you nothing. And if you ain't smashing likes, I still got the shank for you. I'm ready to move on your ass at a moment's notice. I need my likes. Y'all like and subscribe. And I thank you for watching.